And all they have to do is download CBP1. And they can come into Mexico. They can click on here and decide, are they a traveler, a broker, carrier, aircraft operator, bus operator, sea pilot, commercial truck driver, international organization. It's really interesting, though, the commercial truck driver one doesn't work yet, which I think is a complete failure. When you click on commercial truck driver, it says coming soon. You would think that this app would want to keep track of, imports coming into our country, trucks, agriculture, goods, whatever's bringing into the country. That's a really important fact and figure to keep track of. But if I am an individual and I'm coming into America, I can go on there and I can choose how I want to come in. I'm a pedestrian, so I click pedestrian. Let me tell you how great it is for people that are coming into our country that are not American citizens. They can find a wait time that fits their schedule. All they have to do is go on here and I can pick Calexico East, and I only have a 5-minute wait at a port of entry. And then I can look at this neat little graph that somehow tracks what time of the day is busier or less busy. But again, this app does not track or check trucks, commercial trucks coming into our country. And then here's what's really interesting. I find this very interesting. I can get a scheduled appointment, and it says you must be in central or northern Mexico to accept and schedule an appointment. So if I'm coming from China or Africa or whatever country in the world, I got to get my plane ticket to Mexico and then schedule my appointment so I can come into a port of entry. Now, here's the really interesting part. I would like our laws followed, but they're not followed right here on the CBP1 app because it says that passports are optional. I think that's a big problem for people coming into our country and being told to go directly to the port of entry instead of course, going outside of the port of entries because that messes up the numbers. That apprehension numbers were off the chart, and that was a real problem for the Biden administration. So I'd like to ask you, Mr. Nunes-Nieto, why can't you tell us how many people are coming in the United States when you have a handy-dandy little app that you are tracking? You know the numbers. This is the American government. We put a man on the moon. We're able to count. Why can't you tell us how many so-called migrants are coming into our country?
So we do update the public and Congress on the number of people who are processed through the CBP1 application, and I believe my testimony notes that since May 12th, we've been averaging about 1,070 individuals a day using the CBP1 application, which again, as Chief Huffman noted, is just a scheduling tool that allows individuals who may wish to claim asylum to access the ports of entry as the Immigration and Nationality Act provides.
Well, can I ask you a question? This is something else I'm trying to understand now that we have an app to organize the illegal invasion into America so that everyone gets accepted, they have a time to come in, they say that they are seeking asylum, and then the American taxpayer gives them a plane ticket or a bus ticket to any town in the United States. Gosh, the American taxpayers are nice.
So let me get this straight. We have an app, a secret app allegedly that Marjorie Taylor Greene is now discovering and showing Congress on this testimony from the end of Title 42. We have a secret app that allows people to check in when or whether or not they're coming to the country. We don't track those people after they come in. We know how many people are coming in at what time, but we can't track. Additionally, we can't track what's coming through on trucks. Trucks carry a lot of things hidden inside those cargo holds. They can be furniture, goods, supplies, or they can have some extra things there. People, drugs, weapons. There's a lot of things that come through in this area, on trucks, that need to be tracked, and somehow this app does not allow us to do that. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the background of this app is, if it's used in the illegal immigration versus immigration debate. However, it's disturbing that we have an app that apparently has not been really well known to the American public, where the government is somewhat keeping track of who's coming and who's not, but not really. I mean, it sounds very weird to me that we can't track on this app, but we know the busy times that we see on Google calendars for different businesses is when they can and cannot come in. It seems a little bit far-fetched and ridiculous to me, this whole thing, But I'm finally glad to see someone being held accountable and exposing the fact that there's another government ploy to get people across the border illegally. Because at this point, it's happening way too much, it's happening way too often. There's a lot of things we need to fix on immigration, and the border is definitely one of them. But to be exposed like this by Marjorie Taylor Greene is extremely embarrassing for this CBP official. I mean, it's extraordinarily embarrassing. I mean, you made an app, it barely functions, it barely works. It can track people, but it can't track people. You have to be here versus there to accept. If the app's not even working correctly for the truck drivers, is it working when it comes to geolocation? That's a good question. There's a lot of questions I have about this app, and I need to know more because I've never heard of this myself, and I work on some of this stuff before. I mean, I've never heard of this, but it seems like to me there's another botched, failed attempt by government officials to ease the immigration system while making problems more unnecessary and spending more taxpayer time on another failed app that does not work. It's embarrassing. I'm glad someone's calling it out.